Hello everyone, my name is Adrienne and this is my partner Siivaa. Today we're going to talk about ocean acidification.
Here is the table of contents. Firstly, we will be going through the meaning of ocean acidification. Next, we will be looking at the statistics of ocean acidification. After that, we will talk about how ocean acidification happens. Furthermore, the impact of ocean acidification on marine life. Then, what we could do to mitigate it. And last but not least, the conclusion.
So what exactly is ocean acidification? Ocean acidification means that there is a reduction in the pH levels of the ocean over an extended period of time, caused primarily by uptake of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. For more than 200 years or since the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased due to the burning of fossil fuels and land use change. The ocean absorbs about 30% of the CO2 that is released in the atmosphere, and as levels of atmospheric CO2 increase, so does the levels in the ocean. When CO2 is absorbed by seawater, a series of chemical reactions occur, resulting in the increased concentration of hydrogen ions. This increase causes the seawater to become more acidic and causes carbonate ions to be relatively less abundant. Carbonate ions are an important building block of structures such as seashells and coral skeletons. Decreases in carbonate ions can make building and maintaining shells and other calcium carbonate structures difficult for calcifying organisms such as oysters, clams, sea urchins, shallow water corals, deep sea corals, and calcareous plankton. These changes in ocean chemistry can affect the behavior of non-calcifying organisms as well. Certain fishes' abilities to detect predators is decreased in more acidic waters. When these organisms are at risk, the entire food web may also be at risk. Ocean acidification is affecting the entire world's oceans, including coastal estuaries and waterways. Many economies are dependent on fish and shellfish, and people worldwide rely on food from the ocean as their primary source of protein.
Here are some statistics on ocean acidification. As you can see, the atmospheric CO2 is increasing at a smoother rate compared to the seawater PCO2. That keeps increasing and decreasing drastically. The seawater pH keeps decreasing, which is why the rate of ocean acidification is higher. Here is the pH of the Hawaii Ocean as the pH is increasing, yet decreasing overall, as you can see from the linear trend.
Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of this gas has increased severely due to the burning of fossil fuels used for industrial processes, power generation or transport, among other human activities. In particular, CO2 levels in the atmosphere have increased from 250 to 400 parts per million over the past centuries, and as a consequence, the pH of surface ocean water has decreased by 0.1. This may seem insignificant, but it represents a 30% increase in ocean acidity compared to pre-industrial times. At current levels of fuel burning, pH is projected to decrease by a further 0.3 to 0.4 units, a rate not seen in at least the last 25 million years, and an unprecedented rate in the history of the planet.
We are going to talk about the impact of ocean acidification on coral reefs. Some types of coral have a hard outer skeleton made out of a compound called calcium carbonate. This compound is made of calcium ions and carbonate ions. Ocean acidification causes the amount of calcium carbonate in seawater to fall. This is because some of the carbonate ions that normally pair with calcium to form calcium carbonate instead pair with hydrogen ions to make bicarbonate. With less calcium carbonate around, corals find it more difficult to rebuild and grow their skeletons. This increases the chances of coral death.
Here are 5 steps to mitigate ocean acidification. Firstly, you can reduce your carbon footprint. Some ways you can do this is by driving less. You should bike, walk, or carpool. Switch to fluorescent light bulbs, compost your food waste, eat locally, and eat low on the food chain. All of these examples release less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which means less CO2 in the ocean. Secondly, you can stay away from plastic. Use alternatives such as metal straws, reusable grocery bags, reusable water bottles, and storing food in non-disposable containers. Thirdly, we can keep our beaches clean. Remind yourself and others to pick up after you are finished. And if you want to go even further, you can help by participating in a local beach cleanup near you. Fourthly, you can have sustainable seafood choices. Although our ocean covers 70% of the area of Earth's surface, the worldwide demand for fish and other seafood is growing rapidly. In fact, it's growing faster than the ocean can support. Last but not least, you can educate yourself and others on how to help mitigate ocean acidification. Now I know this may not be everyone's favorite thing to read up about, but think of it this way. We only have one ocean, meaning if we don't take care of it, the ocean will become a plastic waste pool. In about 40 years, most seafood will be almost completely wiped out. Knowing this information and sharing it with others can help people understand how serious this threat is and can influence people to make a difference.
Every step you take could save a life.
Saving the ocean is in our hands.
Thank
you for your kind attention. We hope you enjoyed the video and hope that you learned something new.